visions. I've seen it in my manifestation. I'm sleeping this guy and going to create the most viral knockout ever. We're sparring.
That's what we need.
We're sparring.
Warm up.
Some
I know
8-year-olds. I got the 8-year-olds in there.
If I find out anything, I'm going to beat your ass. And I'm going to beat Jaden on Love. On my mama, I'm going to beat both of y'all ass.
For them.
Will it impact Tank's legacy if Jake Paul were like to beat him or even like knock him out?
Dude, Tank's a 3-division world champion, 4-time 3-division world champion. At the end of it, bro, you can't take anything away from him.
Gervonta Tank Davis is fired back after Jake Paul boldly claimed he'd knock him out within just 3 rounds, a jab that instantly turned the build-up into something personal. Critics say this fight puts Davis's legacy on the line. For a world champion of his stature, taking on an internet-born boxer is a huge risk. If he loses, it could raise serious questions about his career choices. But if he wins, overcoming Paul's size, power, and hype, it could become one of the most unforgettable moments in modern boxing. A fight that defines how fans remember Gervonta Davis forever.
More to lose because he's the bona fide world champion. I don't care if he's much smaller. I think Jake Paul has sort of plateaued as far as where his boxing is concerned. It's rather low level. Yeah. He's big, he's physical, he's strong, he can hit. So there is that risk. Davis, at lightweight, you're in a moment where it's too physical for you. You can clinch. Against the heavyweight, where you clinching? You ain't getting out of that corner just clinching anymore if you run out of space. You know what I mean? So it's interesting. But Davis, listen, there's a lot of talking points that I'm sure we'll get into when this gets closer to the fight. Davis can still punch at lightweight. Can he drop a heavyweight? There's a lot to gain there, right? If Davis knocks
the answer is yes.
If Davis drops Jake on his ass, as much as Davis is the one with more to lose, it's still a highlight moment.
A visual that will stay forever.
Yeah. But if you get dropped, even if you're smaller, you're still a world champion in multiple weight classes. If you get dropped, what's the look? What's the feel? On the inside, as boxers, me and Chris Algieri, the champ, even you, Jimmy, you have fight experience, so we know that the risk is a big guy that big hits you. You're probably going down if you're a small guy if he hits you clean. So we know the risk, but how does it look to the public eye who don't understand that? You know what I mean? The public. So there is a lot to lose, though. There's a bit to gain. I wouldn't necessarily have an issue with this had Davis's career arc been one that benefited boxing. Davis was manufactured and put into a position where he's supposed to benefit boxing, and I don't think he has. I think he's hurt boxing. So by giving him this reward, that's my problem. Why are we watching this? Why don't you make him earn his spot that he still hasn't earned, Mike?
Jake Paul, meanwhile, isn't backing down. He's declared that this will be the knockout of the year. For him, this isn't just another fight. It's a statement. Paul wants to silence critics, shock the boxing world, and create a viral, career-defining moment. He's betting not just on his power, but on his ability to turn every punch into a headline. For Jake Paul, this isn't just about winning. It's about
fighters. Because this thing is going to be watched by hundreds of millions globally. Jake, give the people one thing that you can guarantee that they're going to get on November 14th when they tune in to Netflix.
Yeah, you're going to see the 2 biggest fighters in America go head-to-head with an amazing card. World championship fights back to back, and that's just how the MVP way we do it. And I'm gonna come for a knockout of the year again. I've seen it in my visions, I've seen it in my manifestation. I'm sleeping this guy and gonna create the most viral knockout ever.
Boxer Rolando Raleigh Romero has offered a more balanced view. He says that even if Davis were to lose, it wouldn't tarnish his legacy. Tank, after all, is a 3-division world champion, respected, accomplished, and feared. Romero reminded fans through interviews and social media that one loss doesn't erase years of dominance, belts, and highlight reel knockouts.
Bro, you can't be mad at somebody for doing what they feel is best for them.
Will it impact Tank's legacy if Jake Paul were like to beat him or even like knock him out?
Dude, Tank's a 3-division world champion, 4-time 3-division world champion. At the end of it, bro, you can't take anything away from him. Bro, you can't be mad at somebody for doing what they feel is best for them. It's the same way Roach feels Tank is the best option for him. Same way that Stevenson thinks Tank's the best option for him, or like all that stuff, right? At the end of it, bro, we just want to do what's best for ourselves, right?
Facts.
Right or wrong.
Facts.
So just do what's best for you.
Romero added that Tank has nothing left to prove. His legacy is already written. Still, he acknowledged Jake Paul's real advantages, size, reach, and strength, which can't be ignored. The physical mismatch is real. But Romero insists that no matter what happens, Davis's place in boxing history remains secure.
For him, but like Jake Paul might be too big for him, or Tank might crack him. You don't know. Like I said, like, or as an exhibition, we don't know if they throw at each other or not, or we don't know. I don't know. I can't give an opinion because I don't know what's going on.
Do you think it impacts, like, will it impact Tank's legacy if Jake Paul were, like, to beat him or even, like, knock him out?
Dude, Tank's a 3-division world champion, 4-time 3-division world champion. At the end of it, bro, you can't take anything away from him.
Even former UFC champion Daniel Cormier was stunned when he heard about this matchup. In a recent clip, DC called the fight ridiculous, questioning why an elite pro like Davis would step into the ring with an influencer. He voiced concerns about the size difference and whether the spectacle might overshadow the integrity of Davis's career.
I swear to God, I was on a plane coming home from Las Vegas when Luis told me Gervonta Davis is fighting Jake Paul. I said, get the bleep out of here. I said, you're a bleep liar. Jake Paul is fighting Gervonta Tank Davis. There's one problem. He fights at 135 pounds. Gervonta Davis is that much better than Jake Paul at boxing. But Gervonta Davis in his last fight weighed 133.8 pounds. And I'm not over here in the business of just crapping on Jake Paul. I am much more respectful of what he's starting to build as a professional boxer. You're fighting a guy that's better than you. He's just much smaller. But that guy, because he's better than you, what if he wins? Everything Jake Paul has done is wiped completely out. Gervonta Davis loses to Jake Paul. Obviously, it's going to hurt who Gervonta Davis is. But he lost to a guy that's going to be upwards of 70 pounds bigger than him when he steps into the boxing ring. But I will tell you this right now, without a shadow of a doubt. I will watch this. Tank Davis is 30-0-1. You want to talk about Jake Paul fighting a real boxer? That's a real boxer. You can't make this stuff up, man. It's true. They're fighting.
KSI, another influencer turned boxer, took a broader shot at the crossover trend itself. He criticized how hype often overshadows athletic merit, saying fights like this blur the line between sport and entertainment. According to KSI, Jake Paul's approach to boxing sometimes bends reality to create attention.
AJ and Jake was never gonna happen.
I didn't.
Really?
Yeah.
You thought it was actually gonna happen? Well, it's so crazy. Like, I feel like so many people just believe everything online.
But that's pretty unbelievable on the other hand.
I feel like I know. Well, okay, how do I say it like this? Atoma versus White. I had a lot of people bet on White winning. And I'm there like, you guys don't watch boxing, do you? You just look at a record and go, oh, Dylan's fought many more people than Atoma. That record says a lot. Atoma's like 18, not 18, Atoma's 20, inexperienced, one. Like, I just knew Atoma was gonna just destroy him. And I think a good fight for Atoma would be...
Respected journalist Gareth A. Davies echoed those doubts, describing the matchup as spectacle over substance. He warned that with a huge weight gap and exhibition-style rules, this fight risks undermining the fairness and credibility that boxing is built on. Sure, it'll grab attention and generate big revenue, but at what cost to the sport's authenticity?
Signed. I think we've gone out of the frying pan and into the fire because we thought we were going to get Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua very soon. We'll speak to Frank Smith about that in the next section, obviously. Eddie Hearn was teasing it to me personally last week. £80 million on the table for Anthony Joshua to fight Jake Paul. But 8 inches in height difference, 7 weight divisions between them, 5 stone, 70 pounds between them. It's a joke. It's a circus fight as opposed to a disgrace of a fight, which was Anthony Joshua and Jake Paul. At least you feel in this you've got quite a poor, very big one against a pound-for-pound, brilliant, unbeaten little un. And the little un who'll come up to his navel will hit him with a lot of body shots. I said in the week to Danny Kelly and Charlie Brooker that... do I mean Charlie Brooker? No,
Baker.
Charlie Baker. That Charlie Brooker's a different person altogether. That... he'll be throwing the Superman punch, the leaping left hook. It's going to be a very odd thing. It's called, in inverted commas, an exhibition bout. But everybody in boxing who is a name doesn't mind going in with Jake Paul because they know they're making millions of dollars. And that's the only reason that Gervonta Davis, who's being called the poison little elf by Jake Paul, and it'll be fun in the build-up. Everybody in boxing knows they're guaranteed to make millions of those silverbacks, those greenback notes that they give out in America, and they give them out for fun when Jake Paul fights. So he's not going to say no to it. But can you pick a winner in that fight?
Even Tank Davis himself has voiced some concern. He's admitted that Jake Paul's size and power are no joke, especially since he's never faced anyone with Paul's build or reach. Tank says he needs to test how hard Paul can really hit, but he remains confident he can adapt, adjust, and rise to the challenge on fight night, November 14th. Supporters of this fight argue it represents the new era of boxing, where showmanship meets skill. Jake Paul brings in younger audiences through social media, while Davis connects through authenticity, grit, and pure boxing ability. Together, they're
place against all odds, and I like my odds. First, I'm going to kill David. Then I will go on to slaughter Goliath. Okay, so you have to think that the last one, first I'm going to kill David, referring to Gervonta Davis, and then he's going to go on and slay Goliath, referring to Anthony Joshua.
Yeah.
And he's going to go and fight a 140er and then move up, 135er, and then move up and fight a heavyweight.
So the lowest he's been, I went through all the fights. For his first two fights, his first two pro fights, he was 175. Now this is all the way back in 2020 against Nate Robinson. Since then, the lowest he's been, as you said, was like the 185 around the Nate Diaz fight, and also for Tommy Fury. I wonder if Jake can get down to that weight anymore. But regardless of Jake's weight, I can't fathom how Tank Davis would be anywhere in the realm of what he would be. Like, it just, he won't even be in earshot of what Jake Paul is going to.
So what do you think? Is this fight a smart career move for Gervonta, Tank Davis, or a dangerous gamble that could change how we remember him forever?